Hi, I'm Michelle with Make Sense of Math, and today I want to talk with you about one of the best methods and strategies that I used in my middle school math classroom. First, a little bit about me is I taught middle school math for 6 years, and it was great, but I ended up leaving the classroom to stay home with my little kids. I then jumped into creating math curriculum and resources and helping secondary math teachers, and I've been doing that for 7 years, and it's something that I love and am passionate about. So that's why I'm here today, because I want to share with you one of the best manipulatives that I've used in my classroom, and that is Algebra Tiles. If you don't know what Algebra Tiles, these are them. They're colored squares, colored rectangles. Now, if you don't have Algebra Tiles, or you don't have the funds to purchase them, don't let that be a barrier to using them, because you can use paper. In fact, I have created some for you. You can just print them out. They're free. There's a link down in the description. There's colored ones, and there's also black outlined ones that you can use on colored paper. There's ones that are labeled, ones that are not labeled. So there's anything there that you need. And paper ones work just as well as the tile ones. So today I want to talk with you about 5 benefits of using Algebra Tiles. And right before I jump into that, I just want to mention something. Whenever I teach about Algebra Tiles, which is a lot because I love them, sometimes I get pushback from teachers saying, well, I've used them in my class, or I've tried to use them, but I haven't been very successful with it. And I've been there and I get it. And so I have some great strategies and some great ideas that will help you to learn these strategies at the end of this so hang on to the end. Okay, so the first benefit of using Algebra Tiles in your classroom is hands-on learning. Yep, the minute you pull out manipulatives and put them on a desk and have students move them around, you're going to get increased student behavior. You're going to have more engagement, and your students are going to be able to conceptualize the math and make sense of it. Number 2, visualization. Especially once students get into middle school math and they start seeing algebra concepts, it can become pretty abstract. So when you use Algebra Tiles and you put them out on the desk and they can actually see the expression, see the equation, see what's going on, it makes sense in their brains a lot better, and they can work through it. This also is a great way to reach your visual learners. Number 3, concrete to abstract. Teaching concrete to abstract is absolutely key to help your students retain math concepts. It gives them a thorough understanding of the topic, and it helps them to make sense of math, and you're also able to reach all learning types. Problem solving. Like I mentioned before, math can become really complex and abstract once you reach middle school, but once students can see the problem, they can problem solve through it. They can work through the expression, work through the equation. It's very effective. Also, once students start doing it with pencil and paper after they've used the Algebra Tiles, if ever they get stuck, they can always return to the Algebra Tiles and problem solve it and to make sense of it. Okay, last one, development of mathematical reasoning. Students can reason through the expression or equation to make sense of the mathematical processes. If you teach Algebra Tiles effectively and how to use them, you're going to be teaching it right along with mathematical properties. And they're going to have a solid understanding of mathematical properties. And if students have a solid understanding of those, they're going to become better mathematicians and can reason through harder problems. So those are my top 5 benefits of using Algebra Tiles in the math classroom. Now, back to what I was saying at the beginning. If these are not implemented correctly, it's not going to be as effective. And I say that from experience. My first 2 years of teaching, I didn't even know what Algebra Tiles were. I was using ineffective methods such as, algorithms without meaning, rhymes, patterns, if this, then do this. And my students, some of them were able to get it, but a lot of them were not able to retain the information, and it was very frustrating for me and for them. I was given Algebra Tiles before my 3rd year of teaching. We had a mathematics specialist in our school. She gave me some. I didn't know what they were. I don't even think she knew what they were. So I would sit at my desk after school for hours and just play with them and try to understand them. And so many light bulbs started going off in my mind on the potential and the use for these for students, and I got so excited. So my third year of teaching, I implemented using them in my math class, and they were effective, but I also realized that I was missing out on something, like they weren't reaching the potential that they could reach. And so after some more math education courses after my third year, just general courses, something started clicking, and I thought, oh, I know how to implement these. I have an idea. And so I implemented this idea my fourth year of teaching, and it was still a little bit of trial and error, but I tweaked it and I got it, and I figured out a strategy to help my students go from this to pencil and paper, because this should be a tool and not like the end. You want them to be able to use algebra tiles to get to pencil and paper, to help them make sense of the math. And so I was able to create a 4-step strategy to help them reach that point. And, like I with my experience, you can see that it took a long time for me to get to that point, years trial and error. And I just wish I had somebody to tell me how to do it. And so that's why I want to share with you what I have created for you. It's a course called Algebra Tiles Academy, and it teaches you how to use these in your classroom, how to teach different expressions, equations, but not only that, it teaches you how to implement them, how to go from this to pencil and paper. This course includes 1.5 hours of video content, 12 algebra tile videos, and those algebra tile videos are content from middle school math. So anything from like 6th grade math to 8th grade math, 9th grade math, depending on your curriculum. But it's, solving equations, expressions, simplifying, integer operations, distributive property, systems of equations, all those things. You can see more about this at the end. And the most important part is how to implement this in your classroom. I'm going to give you 4 videos on the 4-step strategy to implement these effectively in your classroom. You will also have access to printable module summaries, so if you need to refer back to anything anytime, and a lifetime access. Here is a review from somebody who has taken this course. They said, I completed this course in one sitting, and it took about 75 minutes to complete the videos. It is a great overview on how to use algebra tiles. I have attended conference sessions before about algebra tiles, but this is the first time I really understood how I can use them. Oh, and I love that, because while it's important to know how to teach, different algebra topics with them, it's also so important to knowing how to do it in your classroom. And I'm so excited to share this with you. I've included some bonus materials. I've got some adding and subtracting integer worksheets, solving equation worksheets, and some worksheet templates. Now let me explain the worksheets. The strategy is best implemented through a progression of these worksheets. I was originally going to create worksheets for all the topics, but I soon ran into a problem when I realized that the level of difficulty for, lower middle school math, like 6th grade math versus higher middle school math, is vastly different. For example, solving equations in 6th grade, they may or may not know integers, may or may not know distributive property, 1 step, maybe 2 step, versus 8th grade math where they know distributive property. They have variables on both sides of the equations. There's just a lot more complexity. So for me to create worksheets that cover all of those, I wasn't able to do it in a way that was effective for you. So I decided to create templates. The templates are all done, all ready to go. You just need to insert equations based on the difficulty that you need for your class. And algebra tiles, which they are included in the course, but I'm giving those to you as well right now so that you can use them and play with them and see how great they are. And I'm giving you algebra tile mats. These are not required to do algebra tiles, but they are so much better if you do. I highly recommend using them. It's a $117 value, and I'm giving it to you for just $67. And I promise it's worth it. This is open for purchase from March 8th to March 15th, 2023. Now that's just the purchase window. Once you have bought it, you will have lifetime access to it. It's a self-paced course. You move at your own pace. I do recommend getting it done within like a shorter time frame, but whenever that shorter time frame is for you, you can decide when you have time to do that. You can read more at bit.ly/Algebra Tiles Academy. I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited to see you in the course. I'm there to help you with any questions you may have. Feel free to shoot me an email, michelle@makesenseofmath.com. And yeah, thanks for joining me.